Learning every single day and staying consistent is the #1 indicator of success with language learning. If you're able to learn every day without fail, you will make it. Nothing else matters nearly as much as that. If you can learn each day and keep going forward towards your goal of fluency, you will reach it. Just like the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. But just saying, I want to study every day, doesn't mean that you will. Because motivation is actually a huge scam. It doesn't matter how motivated you are today, that can change tomorrow. And if it doesn't, maybe the next day. It will fade eventually though. And you'll think, I don't really need to immerse today. What's one day? And then you miss a day, and then two, and suddenly it's been a whole month and a half since you've immersed in Japanese. And so when you go back, you need to waste a bunch of time brushing up on things you'd totally forgotten about. And that's not all. There are tons of other reasons why being inconsistent will keep you from long-term success. But this video isn't meant to make you afraid of that, but rather look positively at what you can do every day. The first recommendation I have is to make a plan. If you need to decide what you're going to do every day, you're adding a mountain of extra work. It means that you need to spend time deciding things that aren't actually that important. What show should I watch? Should I do Anki before or after? Should I change into comfy pants first? How should I make sure that I don't get distracted on my phone? And if you're a person who doesn't like making decisions, that makes it even harder. I don't know if you've ever struggled to decide what to watch on Netflix or what to eat for dinner, but it's the same thing. This is called mental overhead. When you need to make a decision, you have to spend energy on that decision. It's much easier and more efficient to make a plan ahead of time. You can make plans for the coming week, month, or even longer. I have a larger plan, which actually lays out my next 2 years of learning, video here, but then make smaller plans within that, which I update every few weeks or months. I recommend taking 1 day per week to write down which activities you'll do each day, which shows or YouTube channels you'll start with, and what general time of day you'll do them in. Things can absolutely change during the week, but with a plan like this, you never need to think, it's only if you want to change something. My plan looks like this. At 9 a.m. or so, I do 15 minutes of mining new words from easy YouTube videos, and then 10 new words in Anki, so about 15 to 20 minutes. After work at about 5, I'll watch 15 minutes of free flow videos that I've already mined, and then after that, do 15 minutes of reading along with an audiobook. I never have to think about what I'm doing and just get to start. And I'm working toward bigger goals so that each day feels like it is doing something, which leads me into my second tip, reducing the activation energy. Activation energy is the amount of effort or energy you need to exert to start something. Imagine that you have 2 things that you could do. One of them takes 5 minutes and the other takes 45 minutes. Even if the 5-minute task is more difficult, it probably has lower activation energy. It feels like it's easy to start since you don't need to lock yourself in for a whole 45 minutes. This is the reason many people would rather watch TV shows than a movie. It feels like watching TV is easier to start, but watching 2 episodes of a TV show is basically the same length as a short movie. And if you're about to tell me that you've never watched more than 1 episode at a time, I don't believe you. For many evenings on the couch, a movie would have been a shorter total time. So keep this in mind and take advantage of it. Make your immersion tasks easy to start but open-ended. Something like, watch the first 10 minutes of a TV show, or watch a YouTube video and figure out what it's about. That's much, much easier to start doing than watch 90 minutes of a TV series, even though you might end up doing just that. This can also be applied to your whole routine. If you think of your daily immersion as one thing, then you start with the easier tasks as early as you can, you'll want to finish. You think, well, I've already done half my tasks, might as well finish everything to make today even more successful. This trick doesn't work for everybody, but it definitely does for me. After doing my Anki and mining in the morning, finishing is easy since I get to close the cycle. But if you leave all your immersion for later in the day, you'll have to convince yourself to start and finish rather than just finish. It's a lot more appealing that way. And my final tip for learning every day is to track your learning. There are 2 main ways to track: habit tracking and time tracking. I actually recommend you do both, but just start with one. I do both right now, but only started tracking habits after I was very consistent with tracking my time. Since I love tracking, I already made tutorials for each of these that you can watch, but I'll give you a quick rundown of each right now. Click the iCard up here or check the links in the description. Habit tracking is when you put things that you want to do into an app and then check off whether or not you complete them each day, like crossing off days on a calendar. I have a bunch of habits in here, including things that aren't language related. They're super simple apps, but help a ton when it comes to consistency and keeping up with all the things that you want to do. You can download Habit Tracker for iOS or Loop for Android. I recommend you start small and build up habits over time. Starting off by putting 10 or more habits into an app is likely to lead to feeling overwhelmed, unless you add a bunch of habits that you already do every day. That could be great for making it feel easier without actually adding anything new. And time tracking is when you keep track of all the minutes you spend on something. If you've ever worked a job where you clock in and out, that's time tracking. But when you do it for your language learning, it's less high risk. Missing an hour of tracking doesn't mean you get paid less, which is very nice. I really like Toggl. It's on all devices and super easy to use, especially if you set it up well. Check out my video to learn more. But the reason it's useful is because you learn exactly how much time you're spending and can see progress. It's very, very difficult to notice ability changes day to day. So setting yourself hours targets is much more inspiring. Seeing that number go up and up and up is great. You can also get insights into your learning and feedback from other people. If you're having trouble with something in your learning, but don't know what you're doing or how you're spending your time, people can't help you nearly as easily. Even if you don't want to track all your time forever, just doing a few weeks of it can give you incredible insight into your process and learning. If you've never tried it, I highly recommend you give it a shot. As much as you can, make a plan to lower the mental load so it's easy to know what to do. Reduce the activation energy by setting yourself smaller, open-ended tasks, so starting is also easy. Think of your learning as a complete bundle, so you're more inclined to finish later in the day, and keep track of it all so that you can hold yourself accountable and understand your learning. That's everything I have for you today. If this video helped you out in some way, right below the like button is the comment section. I'd love to hear how these techniques and tools work for you. As always, thank you so much for watching and happy immersing.